The rain hammered down like bullets as Marcus Stone's motorcycle roared past the abandoned bus stop. Something made him brake hard. A child sat alone in the freezing downpour, no older than 8, blonde hair plastered to her face, clutching a stuffed rabbit. Her eyes stared at nothing. She was blind. A note was pinned to her soaking coat. "Please take care of her. I can't anymore." Marcus's hands shook as he read those words. He'd failed one child already, his own daughter, 10 years ago. But this little girl's quiet sobbing in the Montana rain changed everything. Before we continue, please hit that subscribe button and stay with me until the end of this story. Drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far Emma's story travels. Now, back to that rainy night that changed 2 lives forever. Marcus killed the engine and kicked down the stand. The rain soaked through his leather jacket within seconds, but he barely noticed. The little girl sat perfectly still on that bench, rain streaming down her face, mixing with tears. "Hey there," he called out, keeping his voice soft despite the storm. "You okay?" She didn't turn toward him, her milky eyes fixed straight ahead at nothing. "Sweetheart, where's your mama?" "Gone," the child whispered. The single word carried more pain than any scream. "Mama's gone." Marcus moved closer, his boots splashing through puddles. He saw the note then, safety pinned to her thin jacket. His massive, tattooed hands trembled as he unpinned it and read the shaky handwriting. "Please take care of her. I can't anymore. God forgive me. Her name is Emma." "Emma?" Marcus crouched down, water pouring off his beard. "Is that your name, honey?" She nodded once, hugging that soaked rabbit tighter. "Where's your family, Emma? Where do you live?" "The Hendersons." Her voice was barely audible over the rain. "But I don't want to go back there. Please don't make me go back." Something in her voice, pure terror, made Marcus's blood run cold. "Okay," he heard himself say. "Okay, you don't have to go anywhere you don't want to. But we can't stay here in the rain. You're freezing." "You won't hurt me?" Emma's blind eyes somehow seemed to look right through him. "No, baby, I won't hurt you, I promise." "Everyone promises," she said, and that broke something inside him. Marcus shrugged off his jacket and wrapped it around her tiny frame. She disappeared inside it. He carefully picked her up, she weighed almost nothing, and felt her body shaking, not just from cold, from fear. "I'm Marcus," he said as he carried her to his truck parked nearby. "I own a garage in town. I'm going to take you somewhere warm and dry, and then we're going to figure this out. That sound okay?" Emma didn't answer, but she didn't fight him either. She just held that rabbit and let him buckle her into the passenger seat. The drive to his garage took 15 minutes. Emma sat silent the entire time, but Marcus noticed her head turning slightly at every sound. The windshield wipers, the heater kicking on, his breathing. "You're listening to everything," he said. "That's how I see," Emma replied. "With my ears." Marcus's garage sat on the edge of town, a converted warehouse with his apartment built above it. He carried Emma up the metal stairs, her small hand gripping his shirt. "There's 17 steps," she said as they climbed. "Your place smells like motor oil and coffee." "That's right." Marcus pushed open the door. "How'd you know about the coffee?" "It's on your breath. And your clothes smell like cigarettes, but you're trying to quit. I can tell." This kid was sharp. Too sharp for 8 years old. Marcus set her down gently. "Okay, Emma. First thing, we need to get you out of those wet clothes. I've got some old t-shirts that'll work like a dress on you. Bathroom straight ahead, 10 steps from where you're standing." "How do you know I can count steps?" Because you already did. 17 steps up, remember? For the first time, Emma's face showed something other than fear. Almost a smile. 20 minutes later, Emma sat at his kitchen table, wrapped in his old Marine Corps t-shirt, drinking hot chocolate. Marcus had called 911 first, but when they'd transferred him to child services, something felt wrong about the woman's responses. "Emma Rodriguez?" The social worker's voice had turned sharp. "Where did you find her?" "Bus stop on Highway 12. She had a note. I need you to bring her to the office immediately." "It's 11 at night, ma'am. She's scared, cold, and—" "Mr. Stone, that child is a ward of the state. If you don't bring her in immediately, I'll have to send the police." Marcus had hung up. Something in that woman's voice set off every alarm bell from his years running with the club. Now Emma sat across from him, both hands wrapped around the mug, steam rising into her face. "Emma, I need you to tell me the truth. All of it. Can you do that?" She nodded slowly. "The Hendersons, that's where you were staying?" "Foster home," she whispered. "After Mama disappeared." "When did your mama disappear?" 6 months ago. We were living in Billings. Mama worked at the hospital, cleaning rooms at night. One day she didn't come home from work." Emma's voice stayed eerily calm, like she was reading a shopping list. "The police said she probably ran away. But Mama wouldn't leave me." "No," Marcus agreed. "A mama doesn't leave her baby girl." "They put me with the Hendersons, Mr. Dale and Mrs. Patricia. They have 6 other foster kids. Everyone thinks they're wonderful." She paused. "They're not wonderful." Marcus's jaw clenched. "Did they hurt you?" Emma's silence was answer enough. "Show me," he said gently. Emma set down the mug and slowly rolled up the sleeves of the t-shirt. Marcus felt rage explode in his chest. Bruises, old and new, covered her thin arms. Some looked like finger marks. "Mrs. Patricia says I'm clumsy because I can't see," Emma said. "She says I fall a lot. I tell the social workers I fall a lot." "But you don't fall." "No." "Emma, why were you at that bus stop? How did you get there?" For the first time, Emma's composure cracked. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I heard them," she sobbed. "Tonight, Mr. Henderson was on the phone in his office. I heard him say my name. He said, 'The Rodriguez girl knows too much. We need to move her before she talks.' Then he said something about sending me away, far away, somewhere I'd never come back from." Marcus moved around the table and knelt beside her chair. "Emma, what do you know? What are they afraid you'll tell?" "I wasn't always blind," Emma said, and Marcus felt the floor drop out from under him. "What?" "6 months ago, I could see. The night before Mama disappeared, I woke up thirsty. I went downstairs for water." Emma's voice shook. "I heard Mama on the phone. She was crying. She said, 'I found the files. I know what you're doing with those children. I'm going to the police.' Then someone else was there. I heard Mr. Henderson's voice. He said, 'You shouldn't have gone snooping, Sarah.'" Marcus's heart pounded. "You knew Henderson before you were placed with him?" "No, I didn't know who he was then. But I heard his voice. I hid in the closet. I heard them fighting. I heard—" Emma's words dissolved into sobs. "I heard Mama fall. Then everything was quiet." "Jesus Christ," Marcus breathed. "The next morning the police came. They said Mama had an accident, fell downstairs at the hospital. But our stairs at home were broken. The railing was broken. There was blood." Emma's entire body shook now. 2 days later, I woke up and couldn't see. The doctor said it was the trauma, psychological blindness. But I know what they did." "Who, Emma? What did who do?" "Mrs. Henderson gave me special medicine. Said it would help me sleep, help me forget the bad dreams. But every time I took it, I could see less and less, until I couldn't see anything at all. Marcus stood up, his mind racing. This wasn't trauma. This was poisoning. Deliberate. Calculated. They'd blinded this child to keep her from identifying them. Emma, did you tell anyone this? The social workers? The police? I tried, but I'm just a kid. A blind kid. They said I was confused, that grief was making me imagine things. Mr. Henderson has so many friends. Everyone loves Mr. Henderson. He's a deacon at church. He's on the county commission. Who's going to believe a blind 8-year-old over him? Marcus pulled out his phone and dialed. It rang 4 times before a gruff voice answered. This better be good, Reaper. It's midnight. Tiny, I need the club. All of them. At my place. Now. What's going on? We've got a little girl who needs protecting, and some very bad people who need finding. There was a pause. We're 15 minutes out. Marcus hung up and looked at Emma. She'd stopped crying, her face turned toward him with that uncanny accuracy. What's happening? She asked. Remember how I said everyone promises and then breaks those promises? Yes. Well, I'm about to break that pattern. I promise you, Emma. I'm not letting anyone hurt you again. And I keep my promises. All of them. Even to a blind girl you just met? Especially to a brave little girl who survived what you survived. Emma's face crumpled. I'm not brave. I'm scared all the time. Marcus knelt down again, taking her small hands in his scarred, tattooed ones. Being scared doesn't mean you're not brave, sweetheart. Brave means doing what you have to do, even when you're terrified. And you got yourself away from those monsters. That's the bravest thing I've ever heard. My mama used to say something like that, Emma whispered. Your mama was a smart woman, and she loved you enough to try to save other kids. That's why they... Marcus stopped himself. That's why she's gone. I know, Emma said quietly. I've always known, but no one would listen to me. The sound of motorcycles rumbling into the parking lot made Emma's head snap up. What's that? That's my family, Marcus said. They're going to help us. They look scary and they talk rough, but they're good men. Do you trust me? Emma hesitated for only a second. Yes. Then you're about to meet some of the most loyal, protective people you'll ever know. Heavy footsteps thundered up the metal stairs. The door burst open and 5 men filed in. Leather, tattoos, chains, and scars. They looked like they'd stepped out of a nightmare. Then they saw Emma. The biggest one, Tiny, who was anything but tiny, froze. Reaper, is that a kid? Her name's Emma, and she's got one hell of a story. For the next 20 minutes, Marcus laid it all out. Emma sat silent, occasionally adding details. The men's faces grew darker with every word. When Marcus finished, Tiny cracked his knuckles. So, we're going after Henderson? Not yet. We need evidence. Real evidence. The kind that puts him away forever. What about the girl? That was Snake, the club's road captain. Social services is going to come looking. Let them come, Marcus said. Emma's not going anywhere. Reaper, man. You know what you're doing? Ghost, the youngest member, spoke up. You got a record. They'll use that against you. They'll say you kidnapped her. Then I kidnapped her. I don't care what they call it. I'm not handing her back to those monsters. Emma's small voice cut through the room. Why are you all helping me? You don't even know me. The men looked at each other. Finally, Tiny spoke. Because a long time ago, some of us were kids who needed help too. And nobody came. So now, when we see a kid in trouble, we come. Simple as that.
Emma's blind eyes filled with tears again.
Thank you.
Don't thank us yet, little bit, Snake said. We've got a war to plan.
Marcus's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. We know you have Emma Rodriguez. Return her immediately or face legal consequences. You have until morning. Marcus showed it to the others. They work fast, Ghost muttered. How'd they even know? Tiny asked. Emma spoke up. There's a tracker. In my shoe. Mrs. Henderson sewed it in. She said it was for my safety because I'm blind. Every man in that room went still. Marcus carefully removed Emma's shoes. Sure enough, in the sole of her left sneaker, a small electronic device blinked red. That's how they've been watching you, Marcus said, his voice tight with fury. What do we do with it? Ghost asked. A slow smile spread across Marcus's face. We're going to give them exactly what they want. We're going to tell them where Emma is. What? Several voices said at once. Trust me, Marcus said, pulling out his phone. But first, we need to make a call to someone I know. Someone who owes me. Someone who works for the FBI. Emma's hand found his arm. You really have a plan? Yeah, sweetheart, I really do. And it starts with making the bad guys think they've already won. He dialed. The phone rang and rang. Finally, Marcus Stone, haven't heard from you in 5 years. This better be worth my time. Agent Rivera, Marcus said. Remember when you said if I ever needed anything, you'd come through? I remember. I'm calling in that favor, and you're going to want to hear this story. Emma sat listening to Marcus talk to the FBI agent, her rabbit clutched in her lap, hope flickering for the first time in 6 months. Around her, 5 leather-clad bikers planned a war. And outside, the rain finally stopped, like even the sky knew something was about to change. Agent Rivera's voice crackled through the speaker.
Marcus, I've got maybe 3 minutes before I hang up. Make it count. Child trafficking ring, murder, witness intimidation, all running through a foster care system in Montana. Marcus glanced at Emma. And I've got the one witness they tried to silence. The line went quiet, then, I'm listening. Marcus laid it out fast. Emma's story, her mother's murder disguised as an accident, the deliberate poisoning that stole her sight, the Henderson foster home, the note at the bus stop. You're telling me they blinded an 8-year-old to keep her quiet? That's exactly what I'm telling you. Where's the child now? Safe. With me. Rivera swore. Marcus, you know how this looks? Ex-con with a lengthy record has a missing foster child? I know how it looks. I also know what's right. You coming or not? Another pause. I'll be there by dawn. Don't do anything stupid before I arrive. And Marcus, keep that kid breathing. The call ended. Marcus looked up at his brothers. They'd gone quiet, waiting. He's coming, Marcus said. Can we trust a Fed? Snake asked. Rivera's solid. He doesn't play games with kids. Marcus turned to Emma. You need sleep, sweetheart. Guest room's down the hall, 12 steps, door on the left. I'm not tired, Emma said, but her voice said otherwise. Emma, what if they come tonight? What if they find me? Tiny crouched down to her level. Little bit, you see these ugly guys here? He gestured around the room. We're not leaving, and anyone tries to get to you, they're going through all of us first. You got 6 bodyguards now. You're safer than the president. Emma's lips trembled. Promise? On my life, Tiny said. Ghost stood. I'll take first watch. Snake, you got second? Got it. Marcus guided Emma to the guest room. She counted the steps perfectly,
her small hand trailing the wall. Inside, she sat on the bed, still clutching that soaked rabbit. Emma, we need to talk about something.
Your mama, Sarah, she tried to save other kids, didn't she?
Emma nodded. Mama cleaned the hospital at night, but before that she worked at social services. That's how she knew about the files. What files? Children who disappeared. Mama said the numbers didn't match. Kids going into foster care but not coming out. She thought maybe they died or ran away, but there were too many. She started asking questions. Marcus's blood ran cold. How many kids are we talking about? I don't know. Mama wrote everything down. She kept a diary. She hid it. Emma stopped, her face going pale. Where, Emma? Where did she hide it? Emma slowly held up the stuffed rabbit. Inside Mr. Hoppy. She sewed it into his back. She said if anything happened to her, I should give Mr. Hoppy to someone I trusted. Marcus stared at the rabbit. You've been carrying evidence this whole time? I couldn't read it. I can't see. And I was scared if I told someone, they'd take Mr. Hoppy away. He's all I have left of Mama. Can I? Marcus held out his hands. Emma hesitated, then passed him the rabbit. Marcus found the seam along the back, carefully stitched and nearly invisible. He pulled out his pocket knife. I'll fix him up good as new, I promise. Inside the stuffing, wrapped in plastic, was a small notebook. Marcus opened it, and Sarah Rodriguez's handwriting filled the pages. Dates, names, case numbers. His hands shook as he read. October 12th. Jeremy Patterson, age 7, placed with Henderson Home. 3 weeks later, transferred out of state. No follow-up records. No family contact. November 3rd. Melissa and Michael Tran, siblings ages 5 and 6, placed with Henderson Home. 1 month later, international adoption to family in Eastern Europe. Agency that processed it shut down 2 weeks later. Page after page. 12 children over 3 years. Sweet Jesus, Marcus breathed. Is it bad? Emma asked. It's evidence. Real, solid evidence. Marcus pulled out his phone and started photographing every page. Your mama was a hero, Emma. She figured it out. And they killed her for it. Yeah, they did. Emma's face crumpled. It's my fault. If I hadn't gotten up that night, if I hadn't heard— Stop. Marcus sat beside her. Nothing about this is your fault. You were a baby. You are a baby. This is on them. All of it. A knock at the door. Ghost stuck his head in. Reaper, we got company. Black SUV just pulled into the lot. Marcus's hand went to the gun tucked in his waistband. Henderson? Can't tell. Windows are tinted. Stay with Emma. Marcus moved fast, heading back to the main room. Through the window, he watched the SUV's door open. A woman stepped out, mid-30s, dressed professionally despite the late hour, carrying a briefcase. She looked up at his window, and Marcus saw something in her face he recognized. Rage. Barely controlled. She climbed the stairs.
Marcus opened the door before she could knock.
Maya Chen, she said, extending her hand. I need to talk to you about Emma Rodriguez. Marcus didn't take her hand. Who the hell are you? Someone who's been trying to nail Dale Henderson for 2 years. Agent Rivera called me. Can I come in? Marcus stepped aside. Maya entered, took in the 5 bikers, and didn't blink. I used to work for Montana Child Services, she said, until I started asking the wrong questions about the Henderson foster home. They fired me, threatened my license, blacklisted me across the state. So now what? Snake asked. Now I run a nonprofit helping at-risk kids, and I've been collecting my own evidence. When Rivera called and told me what you have, I grabbed everything I've compiled and drove straight here.
She set her briefcase on the table and opened it. More files spilled out. The Henderson home has placed 43 children over 6 years. 12 have completely disappeared. No records, no follow-ups, like they never existed. Emma's mama found the same thing, Marcus said, holding up the diary. Maya's eyes widened. Is that Sarah Rodriguez's journal? The one the police claimed didn't exist? Emma's been carrying it for 6 months. Where is Emma? Safe, and staying that way. Maya's expression softened. I'm not here to take her. I'm here to help you fight. But you need to understand what we're up against. Dale Henderson isn't just some corrupt foster parent. He's connected. County commissioner, church deacon, friends with the governor. His wife's family owns half the judges in the state. And the money behind this operation? She pulled out financial records. We're talking millions. International adoption fees, selling kids to the highest bidder, all disguised as legitimate placements. Tiny swore. How's he been getting away with it? Because everyone who's tried to stop him gets destroyed, fired, discredited, threatened. Sarah Rodriguez was going to the FBI. Look how that turned out. Marcus felt sick. So what's the play? We need Emma's testimony, but more than that, we need to catch Henderson in the act. He thinks Emma's compromised, that her blindness makes her an unreliable witness. He's gotten arrogant. That's our opening. You want to use her as bait, Marcus said flatly. I want to protect her and build a case. Those aren't mutually exclusive. The hell they're not. She's 8 years old and she's been through enough. And she'll go through more if we don't end this. Maya's voice turned sharp. How many more kids, Marcus? How many more Emmas before we stop him? The door to the guest room opened. Emma stood there, Mr. Hoppy sewn back together and clutched to her chest. I'll do it, she said. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. Emma, no, Marcus started. My mama died trying to save kids. I heard what the lady said. 12 children are missing. If I can help find them, I have to try. Emma's blind eyes somehow found Maya. You'll keep me safe? With my life, Maya promised. Then I'll help. Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to lock Emma in that room and throw away the key. But he saw Sarah Rodriguez in her daughter's face. That same courage, that same determination. Okay, he said quietly, but we do this smart. No unnecessary risks. His phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Stone, this is Henderson. I know you have my foster daughter. Return her by 8 a.m. or I'm filing kidnapping charges. You'll be back in prison by noon. Marcus showed it to Maya. He's panicking, she said. Good. Panicked people make mistakes. Another text came through. This one included a photo. Emma getting into Marcus's truck at the bus stop. The message, I have proof you took her. Last chance. 8 a.m. How'd he get this? Ghost asked. Emma's voice was small. There's cameras at the bus stop. For the transit system. Mr. Henderson probably has friends who can access them. Smart kid, Maya said. Emma, did the Hendersons ever talk about their operation? Any details you remember? Sometimes people came to the house at night. Adults who didn't speak English very well. Mrs. Henderson would bring out children. Not the ones who lived there, different kids. And the adults would take them. Mrs. Henderson called it matching families with blessings. But the kids always looked scared. Marcus's phone rang. A local number. He answered. Mr. Stone? A woman's voice, syrupy sweet. This is Patricia Henderson. I'm so worried about dear Emma. She's not well, you know. The trauma of losing her mother has made her confused, delusional.
She needs her medication.
The medication that blinded her? Marcus shot back. Patricia's voice went ice cold.
Be very careful what you accuse us of, Mr. Stone. My husband has friends in law enforcement. By morning, you'll be arrested. Emma will be returned to us.
And you'll spend the next decade in prison. Is that really what you want? For a child who's not even yours? What I want, Marcus said slowly, is for you and your husband to rot in hell for what you did to her. To all of them. You have no proof of anything. Emma's blind, traumatized. No court will believe her. And you? Patricia laughed. An ex-con with a violent past taking a vulnerable child? You've already lost. She hung up. The room went silent. Then Emma spoke. She's wrong. I'm not going back there. Ever. Marcus knelt in front of her. You're not, sweetheart. I promise you that.
How can you promise? You hurt her. They have everything. Power, money, friends. And we have something they don't, Maya interrupted. We have the truth. And we have people who won't quit.
The sound of more motorcycles filled the air. Marcus looked out the window. 20 bikes pulled into the lot. What the hell? Snake said. Tiny grinned. I made some calls. Word spread fast. Nobody messes with kids. The bikers filed up the stairs, men and women, all leather and ink and scarred knuckles. They filled Marcus's apartment until there was barely room to breathe. An older man, silver beard down to his chest, stepped forward. Marcus Stone. Been a long time. Bulldog, Marcus said. I'm surprised you came. Heard you were protecting a kid from traffickers. That's all I needed to hear. Bulldog looked around the room. We got 40 riders here. More coming. You need an army? You got one. Emma's head turned toward the voices, her expression odd.
How many people are here?
Enough, Marcus said. More than enough. His phone buzzed again. Agent Rivera.
30 minutes out. Don't do anything stupid.
Too late for that, Marcus thought. Maya pulled him aside.
I need to tell you something. I did some digging into Emma's mother's death. The medical examiner who ruled it accidental? He retired 2 weeks later and moved to the Bahamas.
Bought a $500,000 house. Cash.
He was paid off.
Almost certainly. But here's the thing. I found the original autopsy photos before they were altered. Sarah Rodriguez didn't fall downstairs. She was strangled, then staged. Marcus felt rage bloom in his chest, hot and sharp.
There's more, Maya continued. The detective assigned to her case? Turns out he's Dale Henderson's wife's cousin. The whole investigation was compromised from the start.
So we have no allies in local law enforcement.
None. Which is why Rivera coming is our best shot.
A car pulled up, not an SUV this time, but a police cruiser. Sheriff's deputy climbed out. This is it, Snake said. They're coming for her. Marcus looked at Emma. She'd gone pale, her hands gripping Mr. Hoppy so hard her knuckles showed white. Emma, listen to me. No matter what happens in the next 5 minutes, you stay quiet. Let the adults handle this. Understand? She nodded. The deputy knocked. Marcus opened the door. Marcus Stone? That's me. I have a report of a missing child, Emma Rodriguez. Is she here? She is. The deputy's hand went to his gun. Step aside, sir. I'm taking her into protective custody. On whose authority? Dale Henderson filed a report. She's his foster child. You have no legal right to keep her. Marcus didn't move. The man's running a trafficking operation. The child's a witness to murder. You take her, you're signing her death warrant. Sir, step aside or I'll arrest you for obstruction. Behind Marcus, 40 bikers stood up. The message was clear. The deputy's face went pale. Are you threatening an officer? No one's threatening anyone. Agent Rivera's voice came from behind the deputy. He climbed the stairs, FBI badge already out. But this child is now a federal witness in an ongoing investigation. She's not going anywhere. The deputy sputtered. The Bureau doesn't have jurisdiction. Child trafficking across state lines? I've got all the jurisdiction I need. Now get out of here before I add obstruction to your sheriff's list of problems. The deputy left, practically running down the stairs. Rivera entered Marcus's apartment, took in the crowd, and raised an eyebrow. You planning a siege or a party? Whichever one keeps Emma safe, Marcus said. Rivera's expression turned serious. Show me what you've got. They laid it all out. The diary, Maya's files, Emma's testimony, the financial records, everything. Rivera went quiet, his face growing harder with each revelation. Finally, he looked up. This is bigger than I thought. Way bigger. We're not just talking about Henderson. We're talking about a network. Multiple states, international connections. This is going to take time to build properly. We don't have time, Marcus said. Henderson gave me until 8 a.m. That's 4 hours from now. Then we give him what he wants, Rivera said. Everyone started talking at once. Rivera held up a hand. We wire Emma. She goes back to the Henderson home with a deputy I trust. Yes, I have one. We record everything. Get Henderson on tape admitting what he's done. Then we bring down the whole operation. Absolutely not, Marcus said. You're not sending her back there. It's the only way. I said no. I'll do it. Emma's voice cut through the argument. I'll wear the wire. I'll go back. But only if Marcus comes with me. He has to be close, where I can hear him. Rivera studied her. This tiny, blind 8-year-old staring down a room full of adults. You're brave, kid. I'm angry, Emma corrected. And I'm done being scared. Marcus knelt in front of her. Emma, if anything went wrong, it won't. Because you'll be there. You promised you wouldn't let anyone hurt me again. Was that a lie? No. Then I'm doing this. For Mama. For the other kids. For me. Marcus looked at Rivera, at Maya, at his brothers standing around the room, then back at Emma's determined face. Okay, he said. But we do this my way. Full surveillance, back up every 50 feet, and if anything feels wrong, we're pulling her out. Agreed, Rivera said. The deputy's radio crackled from outside. His voice carried up. Henderson's on his way here himself. 5 minutes out. Emma's hand found Marcus's. I'm ready. No, you're not, Marcus said gently. But you're going to be. Through the window, headlights approached. A black Lincoln town car, expensive and ominous. Dale Henderson had come to claim his property, and he had no idea he was walking into a trap. Dale Henderson stepped out of the Lincoln like he owned the world. Expensive suit, perfect hair, that smile politicians practice in mirrors. He looked up at Marcus's window, and his expression said it all. This was a formality. He'd already won. Marcus watched him climb the stairs, each footstep deliberate, unhurried. A man who'd never faced real consequences in his life. Rivera moved quickly, fitting the tiny microphone under Emma's shirt collar. His hands were gentle, but efficient. Remember, Rivera said quietly, get him talking about the children, about your mother, about what they did to you. Can you do that? Emma nodded, her face pale but set. Yes. And if you get scared, if anything feels wrong, you say the word Hoppy.
That's our signal to pull you out immediately. Hoppy, Emma repeated. Like my rabbit. Marcus knelt beside her one more time. Emma, you don't have to do this. We can find another way. There is no other way. Emma's small hand found his face, her fingers tracing his beard like she was memorizing him through touch. You taught me that brave means doing it even when you're scared. So I'm being brave. Like Mama. Henderson's knock echoed through the apartment. 3 sharp raps.
Impatient. Marcus opened the door. Henderson's smile didn't reach his eyes. Mr. Stone, I believe you have something that belongs to me? She's not a thing. She's a child. She's my responsibility. A very troubled, confused child who's been through tremendous trauma. Henderson's voice carried the practiced sympathy of a seasoned liar. Emma needs professional help, medication, structure, things you can't provide. The medication that destroyed her eyesight? Henderson's smile flickered. I don't know what lies she's been telling you, but Emma's blindness was caused by psychological trauma after her mother's tragic accident. Our family physician can confirm that. Your family physician. How convenient. May I see her? Please? Henderson added the please like an afterthought. She must be so frightened. Marcus stepped aside. Henderson entered, his gaze sweeping over the bikers, Rivera, Maya. His expression never changed, but something cold flickered in his eyes when he saw the FBI agent. Agent Rivera, Henderson said smoothly. I wasn't aware the Bureau involved itself in custody disputes. This isn't a custody dispute, Mr. Henderson. This is a federal investigation. Into what, exactly? We'll get to that. Emma stood by the kitchen table, Mr. Hoppy clutched tight. Henderson moved toward her, his footsteps soft. Emma, sweetheart, you gave us quite a scare running off like that. Emma's head turned toward his voice, but she didn't speak. Come now, don't be difficult. Mrs. Henderson is worried sick. Your brothers and sisters miss you. Henderson reached for her arm. Emma jerked back. Don't touch me. Emma, I said don't touch me. Her voice cracked. I know what you did. I know everything. Henderson's mask slipped for just a second. Marcus saw it. Pure calculation, assessing the threat. Sweetheart, you're confused. Your grief is making you imagine things that didn't happen. That's why you need your medicine, to help clear your thoughts. My thoughts are clear, clearer than they've been in 6 months. Emma's hands trembled, but her voice stayed strong. You killed my mama, you and your wife, and then you poisoned me so I couldn't tell anyone what I heard. The room went dead silent. Henderson's laugh was smooth, practiced. Agent Rivera, you see what I'm dealing with. The poor child has constructed an entire fantasy. This is why she needs professional psychiatric care. Where's Jeremy Patterson? Emma interrupted. Henderson froze. What? Jeremy Patterson, 7 years old. You placed him 3 years ago. Where is he now? I don't recall every child who's come through our home. Melissa and Michael Tran, brother and sister. Where are they? Henderson's face hardened. Emma, that's enough. Cassidy Morrison, David Chen, the Martinez twins. Where are they? Where are all the children you made disappear? I've made no one disappear. Those children were placed in loving homes. Sold, Emma said. You sold them. Mama found the records. She knew what you were doing, and you killed her for it. Henderson's composure cracked completely. You little... He lunged toward Emma. Marcus moved faster, putting himself between them. Touch her and you're a dead man. Henderson pulled back, breathing hard, his politician's mask shattered. For the first time, Marcus saw the real man underneath.
Cold, vicious, cornered. "This is kidnapping," Henderson snarled. "I'm calling the police." "Go ahead," Rivera said. "While you're at it, explain why 12 children placed in your care have no traceable records. Explain the offshore accounts, the international wire transfers, the medical examiner who suddenly retired rich after ruling Sarah Rodriguez's murder an accident." Henderson's face went white. "You have no proof of any of that."
"We have Sarah's diary," Maya said, holding it up. "Every child documented, every suspicious placement, everything she found before you had her killed."
"That proves nothing. The delusional writings of a disturbed woman." "And we have Emma's testimony," Rivera added. "A witness to her mother's murder." "She's blind. She saw nothing."
"I heard everything," Emma said quietly. "Your voice. Your wife's voice. Mama begging you to let her go. The sound she made when you—" Her voice broke. "I heard it all."
Henderson's eyes darted between the exits, calculating. Marcus recognized that look, the cornered animal realizing the trap had closed. "You have nothing that will stand up in court," Henderson said, but his voice had lost its confidence. "A blind child's testimony against a respected community leader? My lawyers will tear that apart in 5 minutes." "Then let's make it interesting," Rivera said. "Emma's willing to return to your home, give you a chance to prove you're the loving foster parent you claim to be." Marcus's head snapped toward Rivera. They hadn't discussed this. Henderson's eyes narrowed. "Why would you do that?" "Because I'm tired of being scared," Emma said. She stepped forward, away from Marcus's protection. "I want to go home, back to your house, tonight." "Emma, no," Marcus started. "I miss my room, my things." Emma's voice was steady now, too steady. She was playing a role, and she was good at it. "I was wrong to run. I want to come back." Henderson studied her, suspicion written across his face. "Just like that? After everything you just accused me of?" "I've been thinking. Maybe you're right. Maybe my grief is making me confused. Maybe I do need my medicine." Emma held out her hand. "Will you take me home?" The silence stretched. Marcus wanted to grab Emma and run, forget the plan, forget everything. But Rivera's hand on his shoulder held him still. Henderson's calculating mind worked behind his eyes. If he refused, he looked guilty. If he accepted, he regained control of his most dangerous witness. "Of course, sweetheart," Henderson finally said, his smile returning like a snake's. "Let's get you home, where you belong." "I'm going with her," Marcus said. "Absolutely not. Non-negotiable," Rivera interrupted. "Mr. Stone has expressed concerns about Emma's safety. He has a right to verify her well-being. You can refuse, but then I'll be forced to launch a formal investigation immediately. Or you can allow a short visit, prove your home is safe, and put everyone's minds at ease." Henderson's jaw clenched. "Fine. 1 hour. Then he leaves and Emma stays where she belongs." "Deal," Marcus said, though every instinct screamed at him that this was wrong, dangerous, insane. The ride to Henderson's house took 20 minutes. Emma sat between Marcus and Henderson in the back of the Lincoln, her small body rigid. Henderson's driver, a thick-necked man who looked more enforcer than chauffeur, kept glancing in the rearview mirror. "You've made quite an impression on Mr. Stone," Henderson said, his voice honey-sweet again. "He seems very protective of you." "He's been kind," Emma said carefully. "Kind, yes." Henderson's hand moved toward Emma's arm, and Marcus tensed, ready to break it. "You know, Emma, kindness can be misleading. People aren't always what they seem." "I know," Emma said. "I learned that from you." Henderson's smile vanished. The rest of the ride passed in silence. The Henderson house sat on 5 acres, a sprawling ranch-style home that screamed money. Lights blazed in every window. As they pulled up, Patricia Henderson emerged on the porch, her face the picture of concern.
Emma, oh, thank God.
Patricia rushed down the steps.
We've been so worried.
I'm sure, Emma said flatly. Patricia's expression flickered, annoyance quickly masked.
Come inside, dear.
Let's get you settled. Have you eaten? You must be starving. I'm fine. They entered the house. Marcus counted 6 other children in the living room, ages ranging from maybe 5 to 13. They all looked up when Emma entered, their expressions carefully neutral. Too neutral. Kids who'd learned not to react.
Emma's home,
Patricia announced brightly.
Isn't that wonderful?
The children murmured agreement. Not one of them smiled. Patricia turned to Marcus. I'll show Emma to her room. You can wait here. I'll come with you, Marcus said. That's really not necessary. It is to me. Patricia's smile went sharp as glass. Of course. Right this way. They walked down a long hallway. Emma counted the steps under her breath. 42. Her room was at the end, small and sparse. A twin bed, a dresser. Nothing personal. Like a hotel room. Like she'd never really lived here. There, Patricia said. Safe and sound. Now, Mr.
Stone, if you don't mind.
Actually, Emma said,
I need to use the bathroom. Will you help me, Mrs. Henderson? I get confused about the way.
Patricia's jaw tightened.
Of course, dear.
Emma held out her hand. Patricia took it, her grip too tight. They disappeared into the adjoining bathroom. Marcus stood alone in the hallway, every nerve on fire. Something was wrong. The house was too quiet. The other children too controlled. And Patricia's eyes when she'd looked at Emma. That wasn't concern. That was rage, barely contained. Rivera's voice crackled in Marcus's hidden earpiece. We're picking up the audio. Emma's mic is working. Stay alert. From the bathroom, Patricia's voice carried through the door.
What game are you playing, you little brat?
Marcus moved closer. I don't know what you mean, Emma said, her voice small again, frightened.
Don't play innocent with me. You bring that biker trash here. Act like you want to come home. What did you tell them? Nothing.
I didn't tell them anything.
Liar!
A sharp sound, a slap. Emma cried out. Marcus's hand went to the doorknob, Rivera's voice in his ear. Wait, let her get the confession. She just hit her, Marcus growled. I know. Give it 30 more seconds. In the bathroom, Emma was crying.
I'm sorry. I won't say anything. I promise.
You already said too much, didn't you? Told them about the children. About Sarah. Patricia's voice dripped venom.
Your mother was a nosy fool who couldn't mind her own business. Just like you. Please, I'll be good. You should have stayed blind and quiet like we planned. The medication should have destroyed your memory along with your sight. But you're tougher than we thought. Dale said we should have just killed you outright, but I convinced him you were more useful alive. Compliant. I'll be compliant, I promise. Too late for that.
Footsteps, a drawer opening.
You're a loose end, Emma. And we don't leave loose ends.
Marcus kicked the door open. Patricia spun around, a syringe in her hand. Emma cowered against the sink, her cheek red from the slap. Step away from her, Marcus said, his voice deadly quiet. Patricia smiled. Or what? You'll assault me in my own home, in front of witnesses? If I have to.
You're finished, Mr. Stone.
Dale's already calling the sheriff. You'll be arrested for breaking into our home, for terrorizing my family."
"We've got it all on tape." Rivera's voice came through clearly now. He'd switched to Marcus's phone speaker. "Every word, Mrs. Henderson. The slap, the threats, the admission about the medication, the confirmation about Sarah Rodriguez's murder." Patricia's face went sheet white. Dale Henderson appeared in the doorway, his phone in his hand. "What the hell is going on?" He stopped when he saw Patricia with the syringe, Emma's tear-stained face, Marcus blocking the exit. "It's over," Marcus said. "All of it." "You're bluffing," Dale said, but his voice shook. "Play it back," Rivera said. Through Marcus's phone, Patricia's recorded voice echoed. "Your mother was a nosy fool who couldn't mind her own business. We should have just killed you outright. You're a loose end." Dale's phone slipped from his fingers. Emma stood up straight, her tears stopping like someone had flipped a switch. "I told you," she said, her voice steady and strong. "I told you I knew everything. And now everyone else will too." The sound of sirens filled the air. Not local police, FBI vehicles, their distinctive whoops unmistakable. Rivera and his team had been staged 2 blocks away, waiting for the signal. Patricia lunged at Emma with the syringe. Marcus moved faster, catching her wrist and twisting. The syringe clattered to the floor. Patricia screamed, all composure gone. "You little bitch! You set us up!" "I learned from the best," Emma said. "You taught me that people aren't always what they seem." Federal agents swarmed the house. Dale tried to run, made it to the back door before 2 agents tackled him. Patricia kept screaming, fighting even as they cuffed her. Rivera appeared at the bathroom door. "Emma Rodriguez, you're either the bravest kid I've ever met, or the craziest." "Can't it be both?" Emma said, and despite everything, she smiled. Marcus picked her up, not caring who saw, not caring about protocol. Emma wrapped her arms around his neck, and finally let herself cry for real. "You did it, sweetheart," Marcus whispered. "You got them." "We got them," Emma corrected. "Together." In the living room, the other foster children watched in stunned silence as the Hendersons were dragged out in handcuffs. A little boy, maybe 6, spoke up. "Are they really gone? For real this time?" Maya stepped forward. "They're really gone. And you're all safe now. I promise." The boy started crying. Then another child. Then all 6 of them. Years of fear and pain finally breaking free. Rivera pulled Marcus aside. "We found a hidden room in the basement. Files on over 40 children. Auction records. Buyer contacts across 7 countries. Henderson wasn't just trafficking locally. This was international. You and Emma just broke open one of the biggest child trafficking rings in FBI history." Marcus looked down at Emma in his arms. All she wanted was justice for her mother. She got that, and saved dozens of other kids in the process. Outside, news vans were already arriving. The story was breaking. County Commissioner arrested for child trafficking and murder. It would be everywhere by morning. Henderson caught Marcus's eye as agents loaded him into a vehicle. The man's face twisted with hatred. "You've destroyed everything," Henderson snarled. "My reputation, my career, my life." "No," Emma called out from Marcus's arms. "You destroyed it yourself. You got greedy. You got sloppy. And you underestimated a blind 8-year-old girl. That's on you." Henderson's face crumpled as the door slammed shut. Patricia was still screaming as they put her in a separate vehicle. "She's lying! The child is delusional! We were trying to help her!" But her own recorded voice had already condemned her. Rivera approached Marcus one more time. "We're going to need Emma's full statement.
Probably several sessions with child psychologists, trauma specialists. This is going to be a long process. I'll be with her, Marcus said. Every step. I know you will. Rivera paused. For what it's worth, Stone, you did good tonight. Real good. As the vehicles pulled away, Emma lifted her head from Marcus's shoulder. Is it really over? The first part is, Marcus said honestly. Now comes the hard part. Healing. Moving forward. Will you stay while I do the hard part? Marcus hugged her tighter. Wild horses couldn't drag me away, sweetheart.
Emma's small hand found his face again, her fingers tracing his features.
I can't see you, Marcus, but I see you better than anyone I've ever known. Does that make sense? Yeah, Marcus said, his voice rough with emotion. Yeah, Emma. That makes perfect sense. The FBI field office smelled like burnt coffee and printer ink. Emma sat in a child-sized chair across from a woman who introduced herself as Dr. Sarah Mitchell, forensic psychologist. Marcus stood against the wall, arms crossed, watching every breath the woman took. Emma, I need to ask you some questions about what happened at the Henderson home, Dr. Mitchell said gently. Can you tell me about the other children who lived there? Emma's hands twisted in her lap. There were 6 of them when I left, younger ones mostly. They were scared all the time. Scared of what? Of making Mrs. Henderson angry, of asking questions, of eating too much or too little, or breathing too loud. Emma's voice dropped, of disappearing like the others. Dr. Mitchell leaned forward. Did the other children talk about kids who disappeared? Sometimes, at night, when the Hendersons were asleep. There was a boy named Thomas who said his friend Miguel was there one week and gone the next. Mrs. Henderson said Miguel got adopted by a nice family in California. But Thomas heard her on the phone. She said Miguel brought in $45,000. Marcus's fists clenched. $45,000. For a child. Emma, this is very important, Dr. Mitchell said. Do you remember any other names, any details about where the children might have gone? Emma recited them from memory. 12 names. 12 children whose faces she'd never seen, but whose voices she remembered. Dr. Mitchell wrote frantically, her professional composure cracking. Rivera entered the room. Emma, you're doing great. We've already located 3 of the children you mentioned. They're alive, safe now. Because of you.
Emma's face lit up.
Really? Which ones? The Martinez twins. They were found in Arizona with a couple who paid Henderson $80,000 for them. Couple's been arrested. Kids are with child services now, getting proper care. What about the others? Rivera's expression darkened. We're still looking. But, Emma, there's something else. We found your mother's body. The room went silent. Emma's hands stopped moving. Where? She whispered. Buried on Henderson's property, back corner, near the woods. The M.E. confirmed she was strangled, just like the original autopsy suggested before it was altered. Rivera's voice gentled. I'm sorry, Emma. I know you already knew, but knowing and having it confirmed are different things. Emma nodded slowly. Can I see her? Say goodbye properly? We'll arrange that, I promise. Marcus moved to Emma's side, his hand on her shoulder. She leaned into him like a drowning person grabbing a lifeline. Dr. Mitchell cleared her throat.
I think that's enough for today. Emma needs rest.
But Rivera shook his head. There's more. Something Emma needs to know. He pulled out a folder. During our search of the Henderson property, we found additional files. Emma, your mother wasn't just investigating the trafficking. She was building a case. She'd been working with an FBI agent undercover for 3 months before she died. Emma's head snapped up. What? Agent Carlos Mendez. He'd infiltrated Henderson's network, posed as a buyer. Your mother was his inside source. She was going to testify. Rivera paused. She was supposed to enter witness protection the day after she died. You both were. New names, new lives, safe from Henderson. Emma's hands trembled. She was trying to save us. She was, and she almost succeeded. If Henderson hadn't discovered her identity one day early, Rivera stopped. She died protecting you, Emma, making sure Henderson didn't know you'd heard anything that night. She could have run, saved herself. She chose to face him instead. Emma started crying, silent tears streaming down her face. Marcus pulled her into his arms and she sobbed into his chest. 6 months of grief finally breaking free. There's something else, Rivera said quietly. Agent Mendez is still undercover, still in the network, and he wants to finish what your mother started. But he needs your permission, Emma, because it means testifying. Public trial, your face and story everywhere. No hiding. Can you handle that? Emma pulled back from Marcus, wiping her tears. Yes. Emma, think about this, Marcus started. I don't need to think. Mama died for this. I'm not letting that be for nothing. Emma's jaw set with determination. When's the trial? 3 months. Dale and Patricia Henderson are being charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy, human trafficking, racketeering, and about 15 other counts. Their lawyers are already trying to cut deals.
No deals, Emma said fiercely. They don't get deals.
Rivera smiled grimly. That's what the prosecutor said, too. A knock at the door. A woman in an expensive suit entered, her expression cool and assessing. Agent Rivera, I need to speak with you about the Rodriguez child. And you are? Jennifer Walsh, Montana Child Protective Services. She didn't look at Emma or Marcus. I'm here to collect Emma and place her in appropriate temporary care while the court determines permanent custody. Marcus stepped in front of Emma. She's staying with me. Mr. Stone, you're not a licensed foster parent. You have no legal custody. And frankly, your criminal record makes you an unsuitable guardian. My criminal record is 10 years old. I've been clean since assault with a deadly weapon, armed robbery, association with a known criminal organization. Walsh's voice was clipped, efficient. The court will never grant you custody. Emma grabbed Marcus's arm. No!
I won't go with her. I'm staying with Marcus.
Sweetheart, you don't have a choice, Walsh said, her tone patronizing. Mr. Stone broke several laws taking you from the bus stop. He's lucky he's not being charged with kidnapping. He saved my life! He interfered with a state investigation and removed you from your legal placement. A placement that was trying to kill me! Emma's voice rose. Are you serious right now? After everything that just happened, you're going to take me away from the one person who actually protected me? Walsh's expression didn't change. I understand you're emotional, but proper procedure must be followed. You'll be placed in a temporary home tonight. I'll fight this, Marcus said. I'll get lawyers, You'll lose, Walsh interrupted. You know you will. The system doesn't reward vigilantism, Mr. Stone, no matter how noble your intentions. Rivera stepped forward. Actually, Ms. Walsh, Emma is a federal witness in an ongoing investigation. The FBI has authority to determine her placement for her own protection. Walsh's eyes narrowed. That's a reach, Agent Rivera. Is it? We have credible threats against Emma's life from Henderson's associates. At least 3 members of his trafficking network are still at large. Emma stays in protective custody with someone I trust. He looked at Marcus. Someone who's already proven he'll die before letting anything happen to her. Walsh's jaw tightened. This is highly irregular. So is a county commissioner running a child trafficking ring for 6 years under your department's nose, Rivera shot back. Funny how no one at Child Services noticed 43 children cycling through one home. Makes me wonder who else was involved. Walsh's face went pale. Are you accusing me? I'm saying Emma stays with Marcus Stone pending the trial. After that, the court can decide.
But for now, she's a federal witness, and I'm invoking protective custody. You have a problem with that? Take it up with my supervisor. Walsh turned on her heel and left without another word. Emma's hand found Marcus's.
Can she really do that? Take me away after the trial?
Marcus knelt down. I don't know, sweetheart. I'm going to try everything I can to keep that from happening. But I need to be honest with you. The system doesn't usually side with guys like me.
Guys like you? You mean good guys who actually care?
Guys with records. Guys who made mistakes. Marcus's voice roughened. I wasn't always the man you see now, Emma. I did bad things, hurt people, went to prison for it. It doesn't just go away because I've changed.
But you have changed. Anyone can see that.
You can see it. Rivera can see it. But a judge looking at my file? They're going to see a risk. Someone who might hurt you or let you down or... Marcus stopped, emotion choking his words. Emma's small hands found his face.
You know what I see? I see a man who stopped when everyone else drove past. I see someone who believed me when no one else would. I see the person who kept every single promise he made to me.
Her voice cracked.
I see my hero, Marcus. And I don't care what any file says. You're good. All the way through.
Marcus pulled her into a hug, his eyes burning. Rivera cleared his throat. For what it's worth, I'm writing a report recommending permanent custody go to you. It might not matter, but it'll be in the file.
Thank you, Marcus managed.
Maya entered, her face grim.
We have a problem. Channel 7 is running the story tonight. Full names, photos, everything. Emma's face is going to be everywhere.
Can we stop it? Marcus asked.
No, freedom of press. But it gets worse. Henderson's lawyers are already spinning this, saying Emma's testimony is unreliable because she's blind.
That she was manipulated by you into making false accusations against a respected family. Emma's hands clenched.
They're still trying to paint me as crazy.
Which is why we need to get ahead of this, Maya said. I've set up an interview with a sympathetic reporter, someone I trust. Emma, if you tell your story, your way, your words, it takes the power away from Henderson's spin machine.
She's 8 years old, Marcus protested. You want to put her on camera? I want to give her a voice. Let people see who she really is.
Maya looked at Emma.
But it's your choice, no pressure.
Emma was quiet for a long moment.
What would Mama want me to do?
Your mama would want you safe, Marcus said.
No,
Emma shook her head.
Mama would want me to fight. She didn't stay quiet, and neither will I. I'll do the interview.
That night, Emma sat in a studio chair, her white cane across her lap, her face calm despite the bright lights and cameras. The reporter, a kind-faced woman named Rebecca Torres, sat across from her.
Emma, thank you for being brave enough to speak with us. Can you tell us what happened the night you met Marcus Stone?
Emma spoke clearly, her voice steady. She told about the bus stop, the rain, her fear, about Marcus's gentleness despite his scary appearance, about finding the courage to trust again.
Some people are saying you were confused, that your blindness makes you an unreliable witness. What do you say to that?
Emma's face hardened.
Being blind doesn't make me stupid. I heard everything that happened to my mother. I heard the Hendersons talking about the children they sold. I heard Mrs. Henderson admit she poisoned me. Just because I can't see doesn't mean I don't know the truth. You're very articulate for 8 years old. My mama taught me to speak up, to stand up for what's right even when it's hard, especially when it's hard.
Emma's voice caught.
She died doing that.
I'm going to honor her by finishing what she started. In Marcus's apartment, watching the interview on TV, Tiny whistled low.
That kid's got more guts than half the men I know.
She's something special, Marcus agreed, his eyes never leaving the screen. On TV, Rebecca asked,
"What do you want people to know about Marcus Stone?"
Emma smiled for the first time in the interview.
"I want them to know that heroes don't always look like they do in movies. Sometimes they have tattoos and scars and a past they're not proud of. But what matters isn't where you've been, it's who you choose to be now. Marcus chose to be my hero, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life being grateful for that choice."
Marcus's phone exploded with calls and texts. Reporters, well-wishers, lawyers offering pro bono services for the custody battle. His phone rang again, a number he hadn't seen in 10 years.
"Hello? Dad?"
Marcus's breath caught.
"Isabella? I saw the interview. I saw what you did for that little girl."
His daughter's voice cracked.
"I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I shut you out all these years. You've changed. I can see that now. And I want to be part of your life again. If you'll let me."
Marcus's hand shook.
"Bella, I'd love that. More than anything." "Can I meet her? Emma? She seems amazing."
She is. She really is. When Emma came home from the interview, exhausted but proud, Marcus told her about the call.
"Your daughter wants to meet me?"
"If that's okay with you." Emma's face broke into the biggest smile Marcus had seen.
"I'd like that. I always wanted a big sister."
But that night, as Emma slept, Marcus got another call. Rivera's voice was urgent. "We've got a problem. One of Henderson's associates escaped custody during transport. Guy named Viktor Kozlov, Russian national, suspected hitman. And Marcus, he made threats against Emma before he disappeared. Very specific threats." Marcus's blood ran cold.
"How long ago?"
3 hours. We've got marshals coming. Witness protection protocols, no. No moving her around, no strangers. She's been through enough.
"Marcus, this guy is serious. He's killed before, multiple times. Henderson paid him a lot of money over the years. He's got loyalty, and he's got a grudge."
Then we end this tonight. Where is he?
"We don't know. But Marcus, you can't. This isn't the old days. You can't just go hunting."
Marcus hung up. He looked at his brothers gathered in his living room. "We've got a problem." Tiny cracked his knuckles. "What kind of problem?" "The kind that needs solving before sunrise." Snake stood up. "What do you need?" "Eyes everywhere. Contacts in every corner of this city. We find Kozlov before he finds Emma." "And when we find him?" Ghost asked. Marcus's expression went dark. "We make sure he never threatens another child again." The bikers mobilized like a military unit. Within an hour, they had informants checking every hotel, every safe house, every hole where a man like Kozlov might hide. At 2 a.m., Tiny called. "Got him. Motel 6 off Highway 12. Checked in an hour ago under a fake name. Paid cash." "How many others with him?" "Looks like he's alone." "Good.
Marcus grabbed his jacket. "Let's go have a conversation." Rivera's voice came through Marcus's phone. "Marcus, don't do this. Let us handle it legally." "Your legal handling let him escape in the first place. This ends now. My way." The motel parking lot was nearly empty. Kozlov's room was on the second floor, lights off. Marcus and his brothers moved silently up the external stairs. Marcus kicked the door open. Kozlov was awake, gun already in hand. He fired twice. The bullets went wide. Marcus tackled him before he could fire again, both men crashing through the cheap furniture. Kozlov was trained, dangerous. He got Marcus in a chokehold, squeezing. "The girl dies," he hissed in accented English. "Henderson paid me to finish the job. I always finish." Marcus's vision started to gray. Then Tiny's massive fist connected with Kozlov's jaw, breaking the hold. Kozlov went down hard. Before he could recover, 4 bikers had him pinned. "Police are 2 minutes out," Ghost said, checking his phone. "Rivera called them." Marcus grabbed Kozlov by the collar. "You go near Emma. You even think about her, and what the cops do to you will be mercy compared to what I'll do. Understand?" Kozlov spat blood. "You can't protect her forever. Watch me." Sirens filled the air. Kozlov was hauled away, still making threats. Rivera arrived as the police car left. "You just assaulted a suspect." "He fired first. Self-defense." Rivera studied him. "You're going to have a hard time in court if you keep this cowboy routine up. Judges don't like vigilantes. Judges don't like dead witnesses either. I did what I had to do." "I know."
But Marcus, there's a custody hearing in 2 weeks. Walsh is building a case that you're violent, unstable, a danger to Emma. Tonight just gave her more ammunition. Marcus watched the taillights disappear. "Then I guess I better be on my best behavior from now on."
"Can you do that? Really?" Marcus thought about Emma sleeping safely in his apartment, about the promise he'd made her, about the man he was trying to become. For her? Yeah, I can do that. 2 weeks felt like 2 years. Marcus completed every requirement the court threw at him: parenting classes, background checks, home inspections, psychological evaluations. Emma attended therapy sessions, gave depositions, faced lawyer after lawyer asking the same questions different ways, trying to trip her up. She never wavered. The custody hearing fell on a gray Monday morning. The courtroom was packed. Reporters, social workers, Henderson's remaining supporters who still believed their beloved deacon was innocent despite the evidence. Marcus sat at the plaintiff's table in a borrowed suit that didn't quite fit, his tattooed knuckles the only visible reminder of who he used to be. Emma sat beside him in a simple blue dress Maya had bought her, her white cane resting against her chair, Mr. Hoppy in her lap. She looked impossibly small in that big courtroom. Judge Catherine Brennan entered, a stern woman in her 60s known for her harsh rulings. Marcus's lawyer, a young public defender named Tom Chen, had warned him the odds weren't good. "All rise," the bailiff's voice echoed through the room. Emma stood, her hand finding Marcus's arm automatically. Jennifer Walsh sat at the opposition table with a private attorney, her expression confident. She'd spent 2 weeks building her case against Marcus: his criminal record, his association with a motorcycle club, the incident with Kozlov that she framed as proof of his violent tendencies. Judge Brennan settled into her seat. "We are here to determine permanent custody of Emma Rodriguez, currently placed with Marcus Stone under federal protective custody. Ms. Walsh, you're arguing Mr. Stone is an unsuitable guardian. Proceed." Walsh stood. "Your Honor, while we appreciate Mr. Stone's intervention in this matter, the facts remain clear. He has a violent criminal history. He kidnapped Emma from her legal placement
He saved me from being murdered, Emma said quietly. Walsh's jaw tightened. Your Honor, if the child could refrain from outbursts—
She has a name, Marcus growled. Her name is Emma.
Judge Brennan's gavel came down. Mr. Stone, control yourself. Miss Walsh, continue. Mr. Stone's record speaks for itself. Armed robbery, assault,
Association with known criminals. He's completely unqualified to raise a child, particularly one with Emma's special needs. We're recommending placement with a licensed foster family with experience in caring for blind children. Tom Chen stood. Your Honor, Mr. Stone has completed every court-mandated requirement. He's maintained steady employment for 10 years, has strong community ties, and most importantly, has formed a deep bond with Emma. To remove her from his care now would cause irreparable psychological harm. A bond formed through trauma and dependence is not a healthy foundation for guardianship, Walsh countered. Emma needs professional care, not emotional attachment to someone wholly unequipped to meet her needs. Judge Brennan looked at Emma. Miss Rodriguez, you're 8 years old enough to have an opinion. Who do you want to live with? Emma stood, her chin raised.
Marcus Stone. He's the only family I have left.
You'd have a family in any foster home we place you in.
No.
Emma's voice cut through the courtroom.
I'd have strangers who get paid to take care of me. That's not family. Family is someone who shows up when they don't have to, who protects you even when it's hard, who loves you not because it's their job, but because they choose to. Her blind eyes somehow seemed to look right at Walsh. Marcus chose me, when no one else did, when I was just a scared blind girl at a bus stop. That means something. The courtroom had gone completely silent. Judge Brennan leaned forward. Mr. Stone, stand up. Marcus stood, his heart hammering. I've reviewed your file. Your record is extensive, violent, troubling. The judge paused. I've also reviewed Agent Rivera's report, Dr. Mitchell's psychological evaluation, and statements from over 40 community members attesting to your character. I've read about how you organized a shelter program through your motorcycle club,
how you've been mentoring at-risk youth for 5 years, how you risked your life repeatedly to protect this child. Marcus held his breath. But I'm also aware of the incident 2 weeks ago with Viktor Kozlov. You took the law into your own hands. That concerns me greatly. Your Honor, if I may, Rivera stood from the gallery. Kozlov fired first. Mr. Stone acted in self-defense and immediately turned the suspect over to authorities. Had he not intervened, we'd likely be planning Emma's funeral instead of her future. Walsh jumped up. That's speculation. It's reality, Rivera said flatly. I've been an FBI agent for 20 years. I've seen hundreds of custody cases, and I've never seen anyone fight harder for a child than Marcus Stone has fought for Emma. He's earned this. Judge Brennan was quiet for a long moment. Ms. Walsh, your concerns are noted. However, removing Emma from Mr. Stone's care at this juncture would be cruel and unnecessary. Conditional custody is hereby granted to Marcus Stone for 6 months, pending completion of foster parent certification and regular home visits from Child Services. We'll reconvene in 6 months to review permanent placement. Emma's hand found Marcus's, squeezing tight. Walsh's face flushed red. Your Honor, this is highly irregular. So is a child bringing down an international trafficking ring. We're past regular, Ms. Walsh. 6 months. Make sure Mr. Stone stays on track. The gavel came down. Next case. Emma threw her arms around Marcus's waist. He picked her up, not caring about courtroom decorum. not caring about anything except the little girl crying happy tears into his shoulder.
"We did it," she whispered. "We really did it."
"You did it, sweetheart. All you." Outside the courthouse, Isabella was waiting. 28 years old, Marcus's daughter, who he hadn't seen in a decade.
She stood nervously by her car, her dark hair pulled back, her father's eyes staring out from her face.
"Bella," Marcus breathed.
"Hi, Dad."
They stood there, years of silence and hurt between them. Then Isabella stepped forward and hugged him, really hugged him, and Marcus felt something broken inside him start to heal.
"I'm proud of you,"
Isabella said.
"What you did for Emma, that's the dad I remember, the good one, before everything went wrong."
"I'm sorry, Bella, for all of it. For choosing the club over you, for missing your childhood, for..."
"I know. I forgave you a long time ago. I just needed to see that you'd forgiven yourself."
Isabella pulled back and looked down at Emma.
"So this is the brave girl I've been hearing about."
Emma tilted her head.
"You sound like Marcus. Same voice pattern."
Isabella laughed.
"Good ears. I'm Isabella, Marcus's daughter. I guess that makes me your, what, big sister? If you want to be,"
Emma said shyly.
"I really do."
The trial of Dale and Patricia Henderson began 3 months later. The courtroom was packed every day, reporters fighting for seats, the story dominating national news. Marcus sat in the front row every single day, Emma beside him, his silent support. The prosecution laid out the evidence methodically, financial records showing millions in illegal adoption fees, testimony from rescued children, recordings of Henderson discussing his operation. Sarah Rodriguez's diary entered as evidence. But the defense was vicious. Henderson's lawyers attacked every witness, questioned every piece of evidence, and saved their worst for Emma. When she took the stand, the lead defense attorney, a shark named Martin Weiss, circled like she was prey. "Miss Rodriguez, you claim you witnessed your mother's murder, is that correct?"
"Yes."
"But you were in a closet, hiding, in the dark."
"Yes."
"And you're blind, you can't see."
"I could see that night. I didn't go blind until later."
After the alleged trauma, after the psychological break that doctors say caused your blindness. Weiss's voice dripped skepticism. "Isn't it possible you've constructed a false memory? That your grief and trauma have created a story that didn't actually happen?" Emma's hands gripped the witness stand.
"I know what I heard."
But memory is fallible, especially in children, especially in traumatized, blind children who've been coached by...
"No one coached me!"
Emma's voice rang out.
"I heard my mother beg for her life. I heard Mr. Henderson's voice. I heard the sound she made when he..."
Her voice cracked.
"I heard everything. And I'll remember it until the day I die."
"Your Honor, the witness is clearly emotional and unreliable," Judge Brennan cut him off. "Mr. Weiss, rephrase or move on." Weiss changed tactics.
"You've become quite attached to Marcus Stone, haven't you? He's my guardian. More than that, wouldn't you say? You call him your hero, your family."
You depend on him completely.
So isn't it possible you're saying what he wants you to say? That you've invented this story to keep living with him, to avoid being placed elsewhere? Emma's face hardened.
"Marcus told me to tell the truth. That's what I'm doing. The truth is that Dale and Patricia Henderson killed my mother, poisoned me, and sold children for money. If you don't believe me, look at the bank records. Look at the recordings. Look at the 12 missing children who are still missing because of them."
The jury was riveted. Several members were crying. Weiss tried again. "Miss Rodriguez, without your sight, How can you be certain of anything you claim to have witnessed? Emma turned her face toward him with eerie precision.
Mr. Weiss, I may not see with my eyes anymore, but I see you perfectly clearly. I hear the nervousness in your voice. I hear you shuffling papers because you know you're losing.
I hear the jury breathing, paying attention to every word I say. Being blind doesn't make me stupid or wrong. It makes me pay attention in ways you never learned to. The courtroom erupted in applause. Judge Brennan let it go for a moment before gaveling for order. Weiss sat down, defeated. The prosecution called Marcus next. He walked to the stand, his suit still borrowed, his hands shaking slightly. Mr. Stone, tell us about the night you found Emma. Marcus told the story simply, honestly. The rain, the bus stop, the note, Emma's fear and courage. Every detail. Why did you stop? Most people would have driven past. Marcus looked at Emma in the front row. Because 10 years ago, I was the guy who would have driven past, who didn't care about anyone but myself. I hurt people, did terrible things, went to prison for it. His voice roughened. I lost my daughter because of the man I was. I swore if I ever got a chance to be better, to help someone who needed it, I wouldn't waste it. Emma was that chance, and I wasn't driving past. Weiss stood for cross-examination. Mr. Stone, you have quite a criminal record. I do. Assault, robbery, you've hurt people. Yes, I'm not proud of it, but I won't lie about it either. And now you expect us to believe you've changed? That you're a suitable guardian for a vulnerable child? Marcus met his eyes. I don't expect anything. But I know who I am now. I know I'd die before letting anyone hurt Emma. I know I've kept every promise I ever made to her. And I know that the man I was 10 years ago wouldn't have stopped at that bus stop. But the man I am now couldn't have lived with himself if he'd driven past. How convenient that helping this child also gave you redemption. It's not about redemption. It's about doing what's right. Emma needed help. I helped. That's all. And now you want permanent custody. Quite a prize at the end of your heroic journey. Marcus's voice went cold. Emma's not a prize. She's a little girl who lost everything and deserves someone who'll put her first. Always. If the court decides I'm not that person, I'll respect that decision. But I'll fight like hell to be worthy of her trust. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. When they returned, their expressions were grim. In the case of the state of Montana versus Dale Henderson, on the charge of first-degree murder, how do you find? Guilty. Patricia Henderson sobbed. Dale stared straight ahead, his face blank. On the charges of human trafficking, conspiracy, racketeering, and child endangerment, how do you find? Guilty on all counts. The courtroom exploded. Emma buried her face in Marcus's chest, her whole body shaking with sobs. Relief, justice, grief for her mother, everything at once. Judge Brennan sentenced them both to life without parole. As they were led away in chains, Dale Henderson looked back one last time. His eyes found Emma. I hope you're satisfied, he called out. You destroyed everything. Emma stood up, her voice clear and strong. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure everyone knew the truth. That night, Marcus, Emma, and Isabella had dinner at a small Italian restaurant. Emma ate spaghetti, getting sauce everywhere, laughing when Isabella teased her about it. Like a normal family. Like people who'd always belonged together. I've been thinking, Isabella said. I want to be more involved, help with Emma, be a real big sister, not just occasional visits. Emma's face lit up.
Really? Really? Maybe I could stay over some weekends? Help with school stuff? Girl things? I'd love that, Emma said. I never had a sister before. Marcus watched them together, his daughter and the little girl who'd changed his life, and felt gratitude so deep it hurt.
6 months later, the final custody hearing arrived. Marcus had completed every requirement, passed every inspection, and Emma had thrived in his care. She'd started at a school for blind children, made friends, joined a music program where her perfect pitch amazed her teachers. Judge Brennan reviewed the reports. "Mr. Stone, you've exceeded every expectation. Emma is healthy, happy, and flourishing. Mrs. Walsh, any objections to permanent custody?" Walsh stood reluctantly.
No, Your Honor. Mr. Stone has proven himself capable.
Then it's my pleasure to grant full, permanent custody to Marcus Stone. Emma, you're officially his daughter. Judge Brennan smiled, the first time Marcus had seen her do so. Congratulations to you both. Emma launched herself at Marcus, and this time he caught her and spun her around, laughing and crying at the same time.
You're stuck with me now,
Emma said, grinning. Best thing that ever happened to me, Marcus replied. Isabella rushed forward, hugging them both.
We're a family. A real family.
Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed them. Marcus held up a hand. We're not giving interviews, but I will say this. Emma Rodriguez is the bravest, strongest person I know. She brought down a trafficking ring that destroyed countless families. She got justice for her mother and for every child who disappeared. And she did it all while carrying grief and trauma that would break most adults. He looked down at her. She's my daughter now, my hero, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of that. Emma tugged his sleeve. You already are. A year later, Marcus and Emma stood in front of a brand new building, Sarah's Light Foundation, dedicated to helping blind children and reforming the foster care system. Maya Chen ran it, with funding from Emma's inheritance from her mother and donations that poured in from around the country. 43 children had been recovered from Henderson's trafficking network. 12 were still missing, but the FBI hadn't given up. Agent Mendez, finally able to come out of deep cover, had become a frequent visitor, helping Emma process her mother's sacrifice. The Hendersons rotted in federal prison. 3 other members of their network had been convicted. Systemic changes swept through Montana's child services. Jennifer Walsh had retired under pressure. Marcus's motorcycle club ran weekly programs for at-risk kids, teaching them mechanics, giving them mentors, showing them that mistakes didn't have to define them. Isabella had moved closer, now a regular presence in Emma's life. The 3 of them spent Sunday dinners together, a family knit together not by blood, but by choice. Emma cut the ribbon on the foundation building, her smile bright and free. The little girl who'd sat terrified at a bus stop was gone, replaced by a confident young woman who knew her worth and her power.
Mama would be proud,
Emma said softly. She would, Marcus agreed. You finished what she started. You saved all those kids.
We saved them. Together.
Emma found his hand.
That's what family does.
Marcus pulled her close, this daughter of his heart, if not his blood. This miracle who'd saved him as much as he'd saved her. That night, as he tucked Emma into bed, she asked the question that had been building for months.
Marcus, can I call you Dad?
His throat closed up. Emma, you can call me anything you want.
I want to call you Dad, because that's what you are. The best dad I could have asked for.
Marcus kissed her forehead. Then I'm honored, sweetheart. So honored.
Love you, Dad.
Love you too, Emma. Always. He turned off the light, leaving her door cracked open the way she liked.
In the living room, Isabella waited, a photo album open on her lap. Pictures from the past year, Emma's first day of school, their first real family photo, the foundation opening.
She called you Dad, Isabella said, having heard through the door. Yeah. Marcus's voice was rough with emotion. Good. That's what you are. To both of us. Isabella stood and hugged him.
Welcome back, Dad. Took you a while, but you made it home.
Marcus held his daughter, thought about the little blind girl sleeping peacefully down the hall, thought about the journey that had brought them all together. 10 years ago, he'd been a broken man with nothing to lose. Today, he had everything worth fighting for. And it had all started with one choice on one rainy night. To stop when everyone else drove past. To help when it would have been easier to look away. To be the man he wanted to be, instead of the man he'd been. Emma had given him redemption, purpose, and family.
And in return, he'd given her safety, justice, and the unwavering love of a father who would move heaven and earth to protect her. Sometimes the greatest love stories aren't romantic. They're the bonds formed between broken people who heal each other, who choose each other, who prove that family isn't about biology or perfection, but about showing up and never giving up. Marcus Stone, former Hell's Angel, ex-con, and recovered lost soul, had finally found his way home through the courage of one blind 8-year-old girl who taught him that being brave means doing the right thing even when you're terrified, and that real heroes come in the most unexpected forms.